Finance Committee meeting to order on roll call. Mr. Cassidy,
Here.
Mr. Podak,
Here.
and myself, all committee members are present. I would ask for a motion to approve the digital minutes of the March 16th, 2026 meeting. And then, that's correct. No, that's not correct. It's not. No, it would be the February. Excuse me, check my calendar. I think I typed that wrong.
17th, I think.
It would be the February 17th regular meeting of the Finance Committee, and those were digital. And then in addition, the paper minutes that were provided to you from the special meeting on March 9th of the Finance Committee meeting.
So moved.
Second.
And I'll roll call Mr. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. Podak,
Yes.
and myself. We will consider both of those minutes approved. Reports. Finance Director?
I did send everybody the year-to-date reports as of the end of February. I'll be honest, we don't spend a lot of time in the first couple months looking at these reports because it's difficult to really garner any trends from them. We'll be happy to report, though, our ending cash balance at the end of January was $22.7 million. If you look at that, $9.1 million was in the general fund, which is in the second report. Actually, it was $11.3 million. So the unexpended balances is the column you're looking at to tie back to what the cash in the bank was. Then we encumbered or issued purchase orders for $2.2 million in the general fund, leaving a unencumbered balance of $9.1 million. The other funds of note that I always want to make sure we point out are our enterprise funds, the water, sewer, and stormwater funds. And all three funds are healthy at this point. The water fund has an unencumbered balance of $1.6 million, and the sewer fund an unencumbered balance of $979,000. Those numbers are slightly less than what you may have anticipated, but understand that we issue a lot of purchase orders in the first quarter, especially for chemicals and supplies and things that we know we're going to be doing in terms of contractual services as well. So the PO amounts won't grow as much as you see there. That $1.4 million in the sewer fund is a little unusual. In terms of the revenue report, the only item that caught my eye that I want to keep a closer tab on is the income tax revenue. It should be at 17% of our annual forecast, and we're at 15%. So I'm just want to make sure that that's not going to be a trend that we're going to trail our actual cash receipts. But we did receive our Seneca County real estate taxes in March, so you'll be able to see that come through in March. And at the end of the first quarter, it will be better to spend some time looking at really how is revenue trending in that first quarter, and then again, how are expenses trending. So when we come back in March or in April for our March meeting, I'll have more detail, and I'll provide you also some expense year-to-date numbers as well, so you have a better feel for exactly how are we doing through the first quarter. Councilperson Lehman did have a couple questions for me in the enterprise fund. If you go back to page 13, I believe it's 13. Nope, it's 14.
14.
Page 14, the Wood County water revenue this year is $41,000. It's only 6.7% of what we anticipate being collected. And the reason for that is the January payment of $38,000 was actually received by us on December 29th. So we ended up getting an extra month of revenue last year, so we'll be short a month this year unless the same thing happens at the end of December. So we will trail all year long on that line item because of that. And then in the septic hauling, if you look on page 15, the septic hauling revenue is at almost 62% of forecast. Part of that is we had a posting error in March. $26,000 of leachate should have been posted down in account 440576, the leachate hauler fee. So we will correct that, and that'll put that more in line with what we anticipated. The leachate of 180,000 is a conservative number, not really knowing where that is going to go. We've never had a full year of hauling. Plus last year was a pretty dry season, and so it's really rain runoff that you're processing. So we'll see how that ends up, but we're running well ahead of forecast.
So Steve, is it safe to say that in that same category on the revenue, in parentheses 44, Wood County last year was 126,000. At this point, we're at 111 here. Was there someone that also came in December, you think, that may have?
I'm sorry, which
So it's on page 15, and below the septic hauling is Wood County. And year to date, we received 111,476. And the only I pulled last year's,
okay.
because I was looking at that income tax. I wanted to see how we looked last year compared to this. And we had 126,000 last year, and I just wondered if that variance, that 15,000, could be part of that December payment.
It could be. The only reason I'm hesitating a little bit is because we're right at forecast. We're running at 17%
Okay.
year to
So
date
maybe there was
collected.
something last year that bumped it
Possibly.
up through that
Possibly.
line. Okay. Well, that leachate,
That will help keep rates
no
under
kidding.
control. The only other thing I'd like to report is we're getting ready. Our external auditors are going to be doing their testing the week of March 30th. They believe they're going to be able to do it all remotely. So I don't know that they'll be here in person, but that audit work will begin on March 30th. Our team has been preparing all of their documents that they request and schedules that they need. The first thing that happens is these statements that you see get converted to what we call a GAAP financial statement. That process is being handled by Julian and Grube, and the gentleman working on that is, I wouldn't say complete, but he's pretty far along. He and I have been corresponding all week, so he's getting close to where he needs to be. Once he's done converting our cash to a GAAP statement, it's the GAAP statement that the auditors actually audit. So that will be their work. Then when they come in March, will be just testing our procedures and controls.
Thank you. Mayor Manel, do you have anything for the committee?
I do not. Thank you.
And Mr. Kep?
I do not, thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll open it then to the committee members. Mr. Cassidy?
I have a question. We have this process in motion to get out of financial emergency. And I just wondered if there's been any updates as to what they're doing in Columbus or anything pertaining to that that's worthwhile.
Not at this point. We won't see any activity, to be blunt, probably until July. Right now, the auditor of state staff is spending most of their time on these cash to GAAP conversions. So a lot of entities hire the auditor of state to actually do that. And so Cindy's team is really committed to that task at hand because there's a due date on those statements, and I believe it's April 30th or May 1st, something like that.
Is the season.
Yes, so there, yeah, her team will not be available until June or July to start to actually do work on the fiscal emergency.
I wanted to bring up just one topic for discussion. I know amongst these committee members, we have noticed when there has been troubling news that come out of other municipalities pertaining to their in kind of a financial mess. And one thing that we have read about is that quite often the agency's not been balancing, and that wasn't, and maybe some folks weren't aware of that. I think, correct me if we're wrong, did this community have a problem with that historically?
Yes, especially in the interim when there was nobody in this position. I think we were 4 or 5 months behind at one point. We are now balanced and reconciled typically within 10 days of the new month. So that's one of the fiscal emergency criteria. So timely balancing to make sure that we at least know we've processed everything, maybe not correctly, but we've accounted for everything. And we know that everything has passed through the bank and through the books.
Mhm.
So that happens.
And maybe this is something that I see sometimes when I'm asked to go in and work with a school district, that somebody's having trouble balancing and then they're like carrying something, either on the books
Yep, a
or on
difference.
paper.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about how a control that we could put in place that maybe, I mean, we're never going to mitigate the risk of something like that happening, but into the future, what's something that we could do? And I was just wondering, as I look at, and this is not something I did at Fostoria, but as I reflect on it, I probably maybe should have. We get our bank report and we get our report off of your accounting system, and we can see that those two match. What we can't see is that these bank balances actually match what comes to from the bank. I just wonder if it would be beneficial if just maybe once a year with the reconciliation we get that. Do you think
More than
that?
happy to send you, so every month we
I
do.
don't think we need it every month, but
It's just an Excel spreadsheet that's a proof of cash. It takes all of the bank balances and puts it at the top.
right.
It
No, I'm
shows you
talking about the
everything.
bank statement.
Oh, you want the bank statement?
Yeah, and I'm just talking the front page of it.
Well, it'd be better just to, it comes in one large file.
Oh.
It would be just as easy to forward that file to you. It will have all the canceled checks.
Yeah, I don't know that we need all that. I'm just looking for a way that we can verify those balances. And maybe we don't have to do that. I'm just looking for a control. When I
Well,
hear about communities that they've let this get out of
you do have
hand.
that once a year, you do have that control with an audit. So you do have the control in place. If there was an issue, it would be in an audit report. And
No, it's
because
not.
if it can't be reconciled, they can't opine on the statement. So,
Well, I've seen that happen, I guess would be my only comment to
yeah,
that.
I'm not opposed to sharing anything you're looking for. The only pushback I would give, and I'm looking out for the next person,
Right.
is I don't want to have to create anything. If I can give you data as we receive data, there's no reason you shouldn't have it. I mean, it's open to public request anyway, so.
Go ahead.
Was that the role that the treasurer played in the past as the checks and balances of the two positions?
Oh,
I don't know. And I know what you're saying. I agree. It should be in an audit. But I can tell you that I have gone into districts that it hasn't been mentioned. And then what we find is that there's not been balancing and there's like a slush
yeah.
up and down over here, how we're and
Unaccounted for.
Yeah,
Well-
unaccounted for differences, yes.
yeah. And the problem is that the longer those go on, the harder they are to
Yes.
remedy.
Well,
And I don't want to create something, and I also don't want our next finance director feel like they're micromanaged. It's not that. I'm just looking for suggestions on a control.
I would tell you the proof of cash spreadsheet is probably a better document for you because it tells you what those reconciling items are. And if they don't clear off from month to month, you know something's unreconciled.
Okay.
That's how that reconcilement works. And if it doesn't clear,
Is that just a one page?
yeah.
All right. Well, we can talk about that into the future. I just, as we're changing guard here, I'm just thinking about controls and protections we can put in place because that is something that I have seen and then we've read recently about. I think it was Marion that had so many problems.
You've got Marion, you've got the Hancock County Fair.
Yeah.
Both of them are having a little trouble getting everything to reconcile, so we don't need that by any means.
I don't expect that we'll have that, but it's just always good to have control. So I'll leave it at that. Something we can mull over and go back to at a later time. Anything from
Motion
Mr.
to adjourn?
Second,
and on roll call, Mr. Cassidy,
yes.
Mr. Podek,
Yes.
and myself. We are adjourned at 5:46. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, April 21st at 5:30 p.m.